everybody. Hi, I'm Anne of Gibbons Travel Consulting. I have a boutique travel agency that's based here in Regina, Saskatchewan. So I wanted to come on here today to talk to you a little bit about what my number one rule is for planning travel. Now, this is the planning and the booking stage specifically. So I'm just going to jump right into it and keep things nice and short and sweet for you. So now, when you start planning a trip, there's often this phase where you start to, as I like to describe it, fall down the rabbit hole, where you start to think about your flights, your hotels, tours, activities, what your insurance is going to be, how you're going to get from A to B, and like each of those little things can kind of drag you into a spiral where all of a sudden you're bouncing from thought to thought to thought, and you're having a really hard time pulling everything all together. Now, when you start to book these things, things can spiral really quickly. All hell starts to break loose. All of a sudden, your tour price jumped, and it's now higher. The hotel that you wanted to book is no longer available. The flights that you're looking at, the prices keep jumping around, and availability kind of keeps changing. Maybe you're trying to coordinate a couple different people at the same time, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. And you start to frantically book things, and then you start compromising the choices that you would have normally made. Now, I have experienced this for myself. I've experienced this working with clients, and it's not fun to be in this process. And it's also it kind of makes you it can make you feel disappointed because it's not exactly the trip that you originally envisioned. And so it kind of all becomes a domino effect. All of a sudden you change your flights, which means you change your dates, and you change, like, your hotel is no longer available, so you're scrambling, and everything can kind of start to come tumbling down, and it's no longer the trip that you originally set out for. So this brings me to what my biggest tip is for when you are planning / booking your holiday, and this is probably for more of a complex holiday, but it can be applied to a couple different things, and that is to know what is most important. And so to know why you're going, to know what the most important component of your trip is, and book that first. So if you are going on a tour and you're worried about the pre and post hotels, stop, book the tour first. Get that locked in, and once you have that locked in, there are going to be plenty of hotels in London. There's going to be plenty of hotels in Calgary before your trip. So get the number one thing that is most important booked first. If you are going on a river cruise, book your river cruise, and then worry about your flights to Europe, worry about your insurance, worry about your pre and post hotel, worry about how many days you want to add on before and afterwards. Those are all nice things to think about before when you're originally imagining your trip. But if you get your heart set on one hotel, and then all of a sudden you miss the boat, and maybe the promotion that you had with your river cruise fell through, all of a sudden then you are feeling a little bit disappointed. And I can guarantee you there's going to be another hotel there that is going to be as good, if not better. So if you don't get your heart set on one, and particularly on something that's not extremely important to you for your holiday, then there's less chances for disappointment. So get the number one thing booked. You can look at this as with regards to when you're at the very, very beginning stages and you're thinking about planning your vacation from the beginning. So you've got your vacation days off from work, and you decide on your destination, and you're going to cram that destination into those vacation days. Well, that might not necessarily work perfectly. There might be a better destination for those days that you're traveling. I like to think of there being three components to this. So there's days of travel, there's your destination, and then there's your budget. One of those three things should be flexible. So either you are hell-bent on going to one destination for a certain vacation day, and you have set vacation days, you can't flex anywhere in there, well, then you might need to have a slightly healthier budget because the options that might be available to you aren't as numerous for those days and for that destination. If you have set days to travel and you don't have a lot of flexibility in your budget, be flexible with your destination because you can change where you go, you can spend the same amount of money, you can maybe even have a similar experience, and you can all make that work within your budget. Vice versa, if you have flexibility with when you actually get to take time off of work, that's great. There's lots of things we can do with that. So I like to say keep a little flexibility in that. Know what's important to you. Is it the destination that's most important? Well, then maybe we're going to try to be more flexible with the days that we travel. I have a process that I use to plan complex holidays because that's something that I do a lot. I do a lot of custom vacations for people. So I'm working with a lot of different components. I have steps that I like to move through. And so I definitely recommend starting with what's most important and moving on from there. If all of this just sounds like a giant headache to you, this is not something that you really enjoy. Obviously, this is something that I love to do myself. Then you know what? Hand off your ideas. I can take it from there. You hand me your ideas, and I can move you through the process, and you can just enjoy making the choices as you go without having to stress over how it's all going to come together. That's all I have for you today. You can find me at gibbonstravel.ca. That's Gibbons travel.ca. You can find out a little bit more about my services there. I hope you guys have a great day. And here at Gibbons Travel Consulting, we make travel easy. Thanks, guys.